Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It's Tuesday the 14th of November. In this video we'll be doing what we do usually on the stock videos. We'll be looking at 2 UK and 2 US stocks. In the UK we'll be looking at Fenner, which came out with figures last week, and the share price move since then has been very interesting. And we're going to go back to the retail sector and we're going to look at Kingfisher, which fell quite heavily yesterday, and we're going to look at the charts there. In the States, we're going to concentrate on companies that have had secondaries or are having secondaries again. So Alnylam Pharma, which is the code ALNY, they had a £700 million secondary, which has priced overnight at $125. That was a 3.18% discount to the previous close, or the close last night. It priced after the market closed. Then we're going to look at the code GDI, Gardner Denver. They've announced they're having a secondary. It's going to price before the open on Thursday. It's about 650 million, and we'll analyze what that's going to do with the charts there. Let's look at those charts. So starting with Fenner. And you can see that on the figures last week, we went to towards the high of the previous week before pulling back. That's brought us back to the 20-week moving average, which is giving support. We have actually gone slightly below it this week, but it's still supportive as it's moving upward. Really, the overall picture remains like a flag. It was positive that the highs we've had in the last 2 weeks have been above the high that we had in the end of August. So that's broken the pattern of lower highs. But we do need to break back above that 360 for the technical picture to improve. Momentum wise, we're losing upside momentum, although it is still positive, 52.94 on the RSI. So really we do need to stay with or get back above that 20-week moving average, and likewise the MACD indicative that we're losing this upside momentum as they're tracking down towards the zero level. On the daily picture, you can see the move that we had over the figures, perhaps a double top for the short term. We've now pulled back to the moving averages. They're both actually edging down slightly, the 20 and 50. So really they are acting as a slight negative influence for now. But you can see that back in October that the 200-day came to support Fenner share price, and really there's no reason why that would not happen again. So I'd see that as the lower boundary of this trading range. Momentum wise, again we've lost a bit of upside momentum, 47.45 on the RSI, and the MACD short term just moved below the long term, so keep your eye on that if the longer term starts to turn. On the 4-hour, you can see that again we've got support from moving averages, but again we're slightly below that support, so we do need to perk up. 50 and the 200 have just created a golden cross, but we need to get back above that 5339.46. That could then give a push up through the 20, which would be resistance as it tracks down at 343.7. Momentum wise, we've got negative momentum again. RSI 39.55, but the differential between the short and longer term MACD is narrowing, but they are below zero. So overall on Fenner, I'd say it just needs to perk up a bit in the short term and it'd be okay. Longer term, there's support at the 200-day moving average. Kingfisher, you can see we're in this kind of long-term downtrend. You can see that the overall picture is from high left to low right. We've just moved back below the 20-week moving average. That is tracking back down again, and we had found resistance at the 50. If we're going to get pincer movement between those two moving averages, then we need to perk back above that 20 quite quickly. It's at 301.31, so not so far away. Just keep your eye on that if it does start to come down quicker. Momentum, we are slightly negative, 44.9 on the RSI, and the MACD are below zero, although the longer term is tracking up, but the differential is narrowing there. On the daily, you can see yesterday's move took us below the 50-day moving average. That will still be supportive as it's moving up, but really it was disappointing that the 20 didn't hold. That's now rolling down. You can see that there's key supports down at the 293 to 290 level, and then below there 288 to 285. So keep your eye on those. Momentum is negative. The RSI in a downtrend, down at 42.19, and the MACD also diverging towards the downside. Short term will go below zero tomorrow, and this divergence will be shouting a sell signal to a lot of technical analysts. On the 4 hour, we've moved below the support of the 200 average. The 20 and 50 have created bearish crosses. We've fallen below the support that was seen at around the 300.87 level, which was the low of 23rd October on that 4 hour there. And then we had the support that took it up, so that key support's been broken. Really, one would expect support down in the 292 to 290 levels to be tested. Momentum negative, RSI down at 35.45, and the MACD negative as well as they track down below zero. Okay, moving over to the States. Alnylam Pharma, as I said in the intro, they've had a secondary that priced at 125, so around this level. On the weekly, you can see that we're still overextended away from the moving averages, although it's positive that they're moving up. It's also positive that the high that we had 2 weeks ago was above the highs that we saw back in June 2015. So we went above the resistance, which is good. So in this solid uptrend, slightly overextended, good positive momentum. RSI 67.44, and the MACD tracking up nicely. On the daily picture, you can see that the 125 will still be above the 20-day moving average. That's at 124 spot 1. So that's a key support level as we digest this secondary offering. Other moving averages moving well. You can see we left a gap. There doesn't look like there's going to be any sign of that being filled, which is good. We did pull back, but not far enough, and we maintained the upside progression from that gap. If anything, one would expect further gaps to the upside in the future at some point. Momentum slightly lost on the downtick yesterday, but still positive as the RSI is 56.64, and the MACD, the short term, although it's coming back towards the long term, still is above it, so still indicating some positive momentum. On the 4 hour picture, you can see that again 125, if we open around there today, will still be above the 50 average, which is at 123.9. The 20 and 50 did create a golden cross on the 3rd of November, So that was bullish for the medium term. It's quite good we've now pulled back to find support at these moving averages. We're not overextended to the upside. We have lost upside momentum slightly. RSI 50.24, so be aware of that. Also, that the high that we had, the RSI didn't reach a high, so there was a non-confirmation. So ideally we want it to stay for the Alnylam to stay around this 20-50 day, push back up above the 140 with the RSI going back above 72. MACD are flat lining. Moving on to Gardner Denver, they've announced a secondary, only been trading, as you can see, since May, in an uptrend. The only moving average is moving up. Momentum is seen as positive still. On the daily, you can see we're finding support at the 20-day. That's at 28.05. That's a key level, so hopefully the secondary will price above there. If it does, it will give support. The momentum is still reasonably positive. RSI 64.47, and the MACD, although short term below long term, if the stock holds up, you'd expect that short term will move above that longer term. And finally, on the 4 hour, I've taken off the 200 from this chart. There was an error in the pricing of it. But you can see that we did find support at the 50 moving average. There was a golden cross on the 20 crossing the 50 back on the 27th of October. If we price above that, as I said, the 28, we've also got support here from the 50 from this 4 hour, 27.83. We did break the pattern of a downtrend with the high that was above the previous high, so that's good. So overall, if this secondary can be digested well above 28, one would expect further upside on Gardner Denver. So that's been TA for traders, looking at 4 stocks: Fenner, Kingfisher, Alnylam and Gardner Denver. I know I rush through these single stocks quite quickly. If you want to digest them fuller, just rewind the video and have a look at the stock that you're interested in. Thanks for watching. Please do remember these videos are for information only and are my opinions, and they're not an investment recommendation.